Okay, I want to talk about clean technology. I had a good meeting yesterday, at my meeting, I learned one thing about where clean technology is going. Whether it be solar, whether it be wastewater cleanup, whether it be wind energy. No longer are they, and I say they, the industry, trying to sell on the basis of morality. They're not trying to say, well, this is good for the environment. What they're doing is they're realizing, hey, this is good for your bottom line, Mr. Company, whatever company they're dealing with, and whatever industry, or I guess whatever sector or whatever vertical that's in these industries. You have to understand, when you start selling dollars and cents, that's when the adoption rate goes up with business. The public will pick it up based upon morality, but businesses pick it up based upon dollars and cents. One such company that is in the gas cleanup system is Origin Oil. Their stock symbol is OOIL, and you can go to originoil.com, and probably one of the best websites, informational websites that I've probably ever seen with a company like this. Riggs Eckelberry is the CEO. He's with us today. Riggs, how are you, sir?
Great, Sully. Thank you.
Good to have you. So, what do you think about what I learned yesterday about they always start on these trends trying to sell morality to the public and say, oh, it's good for the environment. But when you guys pick it up, it's when you see that it's good for your bottom line. Have you noticed that as well?
I've noticed that, and on top of it, there's been a lot of press this week about how all these green funds and so forth are now investing to clean up frack water, for example, as we're doing. So a lot of people are going to the dark side, quote unquote, but helping the environment from a point of view of helping where the money is.
Well, that's right, and once again, the Kool-Aid is help the environment, but the adoptability is help my bottom line, and that's how it works. I had so many people email us after your last show, and a lot of people want to kind of hear the whole story from the beginning. Again, so I kind of want to be repetitive here, only in that we've got some new listeners and some new viewers. We've got a couple of new affiliates here. I want you to take us some soup to nuts on this thing, because first of all, you guys are not an oil exploration company. I think a lot of people thought, hey, Origin Oil, here's another oil exploration company. You're not even close. You guys are basically in the oil cleanup, or I guess you are in the algae business, you're in the cleanup business, you're in the water business, you're in probably anything but the oil business.
But we like to say it's the water stupid, right?
Yes, it is the water stupid. Okay, good.
And we got a lot of dirty water. This is the new century, the century of remediation, where we clean up the nasty things we did in the last century and continuing to do. So water is a big problem. We started out as a company focused on algae because it has tremendous potential as a fuel, as a chemical, fertilizer, feed, high-value nutritionals. For example, last week we announced that we had a huge win with this very expensive product called astaxanthin.
Right, sure. And astaxanthin is the panacea for so many things health related now, as far as a supplementation goes for the diet and nutrition industry.
Well, it goes through the blood-brain barrier, so they're using it for Alzheimer's, all kinds of interesting things.
Sure.
So, but it's hard to do. We cracked the code on that, and we're helping to make it industrialized, which is fantastic. So what our technology really is to do is to pull water out of incredibly dilute concentrations. Algae, 1,000 to 1 water to algae concentration. Somehow you got to get the water out.
Okay, so give us an idea of where is that water? Why would you have an algae concentration like that? What would be the scenario where you're going to find that water? Is that specific to environments, or is it specific to industries, or is it both?
Well, when you grow a lot of algae, imagine long trenches in the desert and the Badlands, and you got algae just growing. Well, it's only going to grow to maybe half a gram per liter, maybe. And so you got it looks like Kool-Aid.
Sure.
And how do you get Kool-Aid out of the water?
Right.
That's the challenge.
Right.
And it's a very similar problem. We discovered last year that we could do similar things for old algae, which is petroleum.
Right. Old algae, yeah, and I think that's interesting for people to understand is that that's one of the reasons why your technology works, is because it's the same thing.
Bingo.
So continue now with respect to your acceleration of the commercialization of this technology. Specifically, how does it work, and tell me who your customers are.
Sure. Well, we use electrical pulses and very specific algorithms to cause the organic material, whatever it is, petroleum, algae, now in fish farms, ammonia, for example, to basically come out of solution and become clumps and disappear. In the case of ammonia, in the case of the petroleum and the algae, you harvest it, you rake it off the top, and you're able to use it for beneficial purposes.
With respect to that, I think one of the things that folks need to understand. Give me some algae facts, because algae is a wonderful thing for our environment, right? It sucks up CO2.
For every pound of algae that you get, you're sucking up 2 pounds of CO2. Right?
The interesting part about that is this clean frac. This is sort of the cutting edge tip of the spear, so to speak, in this type of technology. Explain how you guys came up with a different idea that ended up being clean frac.
Yeah. So right now, a lot of people are trying to clean up frac water with a lot of chemicals. They're letting things settle in huge tanks.
Right.
There's a lot of nasty ponds out there being covered up by brush, so the EPA doesn't see it.
Right.
A lot of secrets out there.
Right.
And a better solution.
I love the idea of covering it up by brush so people can't see it, because didn't they do that like in the westerns? They covered up bodies with brushes. So at some point you have to stop dealing with the symptom and deal with the cure, right?
Exactly.
And that's what you guys are doing.
So what the industry needs really is a high speed way to pull out all the frac material, the fluids and the petroleum that comes up, and use those, reuse those as needed, and get that water clean so it goes right back down the hole. It can't sit on all these freaking tanks. And so that's where our technology, which is high speed, chemical free, so you don't have gallons and gallons of chemicals, and much more effective than chemicals, we're getting up to 99.9% reduction of the oils.
So when you go to a well scenario, right? And I want to talk about this when we get back in the week. When you go to a well scenario, you pretty much set up a turnkey solution right there. Walk away, and suddenly they can pull out gray water, they can pull out algae, they can pull out oil. Is that kind of the idea?
They can, but remember, we're a technology company. Our partner does it.
Exactly.
We keep our hands clean.
Let's talk about the licensing part of this when we get back. All right. His name is Riggs Eckelberry. He is, of course, with Origin Oil. OOIL is their stock symbol. OriginOil.com is their website. They got some pretty great video up there. In fact, our TV audience has been watching some of the videos. We've been interviewing Riggs, and if you're a radio audience member, just simply go to their website. You can figure that out. I want to talk about how Origin Oil and Dolby are connected. That's coming up at 21 past the hour. Big Biz Show, BigBizShow.com. Follow us on Twitter at Big Biz Radio. Let's talk about Origin Oil. Origin Oil is the company that we're talking about today. Riggs Eckelberry is with us. OOIL is their stock symbol, and OriginOil.com is their website. I want to talk to you about the model, because even though there is a turnkey solution here with what you guys do, a big container is dropped off at an oil site, and the work is done inside that big container. You guys aren't the guys hauling the containers. You guys aren't the guys cleaning up the stuff. You guys are the Wizard of Oz behind the scenes, right?
Exactly. I like to think of it as mailbox money.
Yeah, it is mailbox money. That's for sure.
It's never quite that simple.
Well, it took a lot of money to get to the mailbox money stage, so let's face that. So you guys license the technology, correct?
We license the technology. Also, we're helping our partners. For example, right now we're putting together what's called a throughput program, where the service company or the operator pays only by the gallon treated. And that speeds things up, because you don't have to do this big capital $2-3 million investment.
Right.
It's all taken care of as they go.
Do you have like a business in a box sort of philosophy for these guys? Like, what kind of an operator? Would it be just a regular water cleanup operator that you're adding, like you're a value added service to them?
Yeah. So a lot of these companies right now that are out there trying to get to various stages of drinkability or groundwater grade, et cetera, need something at the first stage. That's us. Okay, we're the first stage. So people who membranes, for example, nanofilters, all these various technologies, they got to have the cleanest possible water, otherwise these things get fouled and they have very high expense. So we integrate our technology into a larger solution, which gets to that final product, and they have all the sales channels and the service companies and so forth.
I see.
We're helping with that.
Good. The interesting side about the licensing model is that it's the scalability is much greater that way. I mean, because suddenly you can go from national to international in a heartbeat as soon as the adoption rate goes up by those very companies that are the service providers, correct?
Yes. Well, Sully, the great story of Ray Dolby.
Sure. Yeah.
Who started in 1963, and he never made a single receiver or radio.
Yeah.
He just licensed out the technology.
He says, "Here, do this to your stuff, and it'll be better."
Exactly.
Is basically what he's saying. Hey, you had some pretty good coverage in Wall Street Journal this week, and in fact, there's the Origin Oil retains Merrimack Capital as your capital markets advisor. It is an investment banker. You got together with one of the bigger investment bankers. Of course, Merriman is also a market maker. How did that transpire, and why is that a good thing for you? Why is that a good thing for your shareholders?
Well, we've been talking to John Merriman for a long time, and we like him a lot. This is a first stage. You know, most investment bankers goes, okay, well, we're going to take you on the road, and we're going to sell a lot of shares. You got to, create a market. You got to condition the market and the investor base.
Right.
So this is a straight advisory. They're going to, improve our shareholder base. They're going to increase liquidity.
Yeah.
They're going to make this a more visible stock.
Right.
And that will lead naturally to potential capital raises.
And also, it's also going to help your business as well, right? Speaking of business, I want to show you, and for our radio audience, you won't be able to see these pictures, but I tell you what we'll do is if you go to originoil.com, you can see all of them, and it's originoil.com. To explain what we're seeing here on the screen here, because basically everybody wants to see before and after pictures, right?
Well, yesterday, this was the big win. These shots were taken on my BlackBerry yesterday. And what this is the new Aqua Appliance, the aquaculture device that pulls all the nasty ammonia and stuff out of the product. In fact,
now it's as big. It's about as big as an operating table. It's about 4 feet high. It's a series of what you would look if you're familiar with reverse osmosis systems for in your house for under the sink. Has those type of cartridges underneath them. And for the radio audience, it's kind of a series of pipes with those kind of filters undercarriage. Now it's a lot smaller than I anticipated. Now are the commercial versions much bigger than that, or is that about the size of them all the time?
Well, what's amazing about this, Sully, is first of all the action is in the pipes above. I call it a Patriot missile array.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Exactly.
It does. It looks like a stack of missiles set up on the top of a flat top, getting ready to get. It looks like ordnance is what it does. Yeah, right.
Right. So they're recoilless. There's no actual recall. And below that, these filters are for after the fact to pull the chlorine out, because what you got here in a fish farm is a lot of ammonia, viruses, and bacteria.
Sure.
Ammonia is a terrible problem for getting out of water. It's very hard to do. Chemicals don't really do the job.
Right.
We're able to do it in one shot. In fact, the next slide here will show you how we had this before and after.
Now there's a before and after, and on for our radio audience, on one of these tubs, it looks like if you were to see a swimming pool that had gone stagnant for probably a year. It is green, ugly water, and on the left side, it looks like the bottom of a clean swimming pool.
Right, and now fish were living in the right-hand side one. That's the amazing part. Commercial fish were living in that stuff.
So we're eating in that. The stuff that we're eating at a nice restaurant. Oh my goodness! The time it takes to go from the ugly stuff to the clean stuff. What's the?
It's in real time again, so it takes seconds.
Wow.
This device that you see on the table does 20 gallons per minute.
Wow, that's
20
amazing.
gallons per minute. And take the next slide. We'll show you a few more pictures.
Yeah, I got about 30
there's Andrew
seconds
Davies, the builder.
Yeah, another before and after shot.
Which is exciting.
What it looks like.
Next slide. There's my brother.
Yeah, he looks like the guy that was in Back to the Future. Can we have him on the air with us? What is his name?
Totally. Nicholas, he's a rock star.
Yeah.
He is the brilliant inventor.
Wow.
And the whole engineering team is around him, just getting the download. What do you got for us? He's like the artist formerly called Prince.
Well, we'd like to have him in the studio at some point with us. And then the last slide there is that you're testing the water for.
Well, look at the amazing. It goes from the darkest to the very lightest in one shot.
We'll put those up at bigbizshow.com, but I want to invite you to go to originoil.com and take it out. Riggs, once again, an illuminating interview. Can't wait to see you next week. Have a great holiday weekend.
Thank you.
Originoil.com is their website. Stock symbol is OOIL, and of course, you can see Riggs' interview with me. I'm going to say probably by tomorrow on his website.
Right on.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.